Okay, so we're now on the segment for photography, law enforcement, and the guidelines in crime scene photography. So ano ang use or application ng photography sa police work? For identification purpose, mga mugshot sa identity ng mga criminals, mga witness, missing persons, etc. Rine-record din ito at preserve yung evidence. So, order for the court to know what really happened, the police needs to record all the crime scenes, the evidences, the place where the crime scene happened. Discovering and providing evidence not readily seen by the naked eye. So, uh, our eyes is only sensitive to the white light. So, with the use of the infrared filter or the UV filter, they can see yung mga erasure sa question document sa paper, question document, sa mga semen stain sa crime scene. Yan. So, recording action of offenders. So, you may use the camera to record, to survey, to to mag-intel sa mga places. For entrapment, so yung you use the camera to record it. Extrajudicial confession, reenactment of a crime. For court exhibits, ito yung importante rin. Hindi lang yung crime scene processing part niya. So, must have the series of events through the photograph. Yun. Crime prevention. So, sometimes yung mga camera, it's installed in the CCTV, deters criminals from doing their criminal stuffs. Public information and police training. So, it's important for it also. Pero sa specific application niya is for identity and crime scene photography. So, the general consideration in police photography is actually it's just to provide information. Ito yung main part na. Main part ng police photography is to be able to provide information through the use of uh, photography. So it is used as a permanent visual record of the exact and original location and condition of the different aspects of the scene and the vital evidences of proof. So, pag nakapag-aralan niyo sa CDI ninyo, sa Fundamentals of Criminal Investigation, photography is a preserving tool. So, yun. So, it, ayun. So, marami siyang used. So, general consideration up to the ganito sa crime scene photography. So, the aim or goal is to record the maximum information by a series of photographs to understand where and how the crime was committed. So, to record maximum information daw. Meaning, you need to take as many as you can. Take as many as possible. Take as many as sufficient to para to convince the court that that happened. Take record of all types of crime scene. The number of the types of photographs will depend on the crime scene itself. It is wise to move to take more picture than too few. As a basic guideline, the approach to complete representation of the subject matter is the progression of general to specific from the long range view to the extreme close-up or close-up view. So may long range, may medium range, may close-up, may extreme close-up. So the photographic range or views can be categorized as the focusing on the location of the crime, yung bird's eye view niya. Concentration of the feature of the offense, ito actually yung medium general view. Ito yung pang anong relation ng body of the crime sa yung body of the victim to the murder weapon, for example. Centering on the result of the crime, pinipicture yung mga close-up ng mga minute evidences. featuring the physical evidence existing in the scene. Pinipicturean yung murder weapon, etc. Focusing on the follow-up activity not directly occurring at the immediate scene. So, to collect more evidences and to para masyambaan na after that, nag-install ka ng camera and bumalik yung magnanakaw, ayun, naka-score ka kasi police. So actually marami pa dito. So not just actually marami siya ang nalagay ko dito. Hindi ko na siya masabi lahat. So there are many things to consider in police photography. So just like perspective or camera position, it must be on eye level, di ba? So the camera position must be na eye level, it must be not against the light, di ba? The lenses dapat may kompleto, may wide angle, may normal at may zoom. It is it's more convenient to use zoom lens kasi pwede mo siyang i-adjust to an wide angle lens to normal lens. Meron din yung lighting. So usually front and side lighting yung ginagamit. So side lighting, it brings out the details only. If you want to see the depth of footprint and the markers of the field of view, because of the objection of some lawyers in the course to markings and marking devices appearing in the photographs of the crime scene, it is therefore wise or prudent to take photographs with or without it. So sabi dito, with or without it. Yung markers, ito yung number 1, number 2, number 3, A, B, C. Nilagay mo dun, pinicturan mo. Hindi mo muna ilagay, pinicturan mo, ilagay mo, pinicturan mo. Or yung ruler niya, yung parang measuring devices. So before putting the measuring device or the markings, you take picture it as a raw picture, and then you put the ruler measuring device and you picture it again. Identification data, so yung anong date and time kung kailan nakuha. So yung mga markings ng yung lifter ng evidence. So for example, yung fingerprint. So yung magle-lift doon, yung picturean mo yung mga signature niya na nilagay niya sa parang lalagyan ng fingerprint evidence. So kasama siya actually yung photographer sa iba't ibang member ng SOCO team na pupunta sa crime scene. So meron din yung location markers, etc. So and photograph log, dito mo ilalagay yung kung ano yung mga pinicturean mo. So there are also different ways or different parang consideration when you are dealing with specific crimes. For homicide or manner, you should consider yung manner of death niya, kung paano siya namatay. Pero generally considering the exterior of the building, kung ano yung points of entry sa bahay at exit, yung mga mga footprints niya, broken branches, kung saan siya lumabas, kung saan siya nagtago, ganun, tire impression. So anything related sa movement ng tao is pipicturean mo. The room or where the body was found, also the adjoining room, so it is important also. Evidence of struggle, so ganun naman kasi you do not alter the evidence, so you take picture lahat kahit nakagulo-gulo yung room. Signs of activities prior to the occurrence, traced evidences, mga ganun. So it's also important to take note of the cause of death, kung namatay ba sa baril, namatay ba sa saksak. So picturean mo yung mga traces ng fire sa traces ng paltog. So entry and exit point ng bullet, yung mga blood splatter, mga ganun, together with the ballistation, of course. And hanging, so it's important to take picture first the original position of the body before parang ibaba mo yung body. Pero yung general rule muna is tignan mo kung mabubuhay pa. Kung wala na, picturean mo and then alisin mo sa kanyang position. Drowning, so dito is whole body from the standing observer position and from the ground level. And yung mga close-up niya, mga mukha, mouth, mga siguro different markings sa kanyang mga katawan. Electrocution naman, so kung saan nanggaling yung flow ng electricity and etc. Explosion naman is yung mga, take note, yung mga shrapnels, kung saan nanggaling yung parang origin ng putok. Ganun. So, ayun, the nature of the explosive device, the undetonated parts of the explosive, traces of liquid explosive, and etc. Robbery case naman, syempre parang murder din yan. Yung parang general consideration ng pagtitignan mo yung ipipicturean mo. So, pero mostly is the parang location mismo. So, the exterior of the building, the point of exit and entry, condition of the room, kung ano yung nakaw, places where kung saan nanakaw yung mga materials, yung mga markings siguro sa yung mga tool markings na ginamit sa paglaklak sa door, and traces, evidences like mga soil na nasa parang weird na nasa room na nanakawan, mga ganun. Sex offenses, so photographs to be taken are at the place of incident, signs of struggle and resistance, part of the victim. So, you should also show on how the area of the place of the occurrence of the rape. So, tignan mo kung picturean mo para makita na it is parang isolated siya na place or any. So, medium shot should show broken branches or pressed ground if out there and crumpled beddings or pillow. Parang sign of struggle. Close-up should be the bottoms removed from clothes, torn clothing or garments. So, before it was also rational found, but it is not. So, dito, sa, sir, baka questionin ako, sir, but pipicturein nyo ba yung talagang yung ari ng babae? So, you cannot. If the victim voluntary does not want to be pictured. Ayun. And if he is a minor. Pag arson naman, the area of origin, and so on, and so forth sa specific crime. Nakalagay naman dito, just read it. And it's, by reading, it's understandable. Ayun. So, ayun. Punta tayo sa special uses of photography. Usually, this maraming mga complications din or techniques in the use of type of camera, type of filter in the execution of police photography. So, may infrared photography. The use of an infrared film or an infrared filter, you see yung mga hindi nakikitang radiation waves. Kapag pinicturean mo ng infrared na camera, is nakikita mo yung mga yun. So, especially sa questioned document. So, sabi dito, pictures can be taken with infrared rays even at night or in complete darkness. So, yung maganda sa infrared is that you can actually picture a scene at night even without parang light. Nakikita kasi ng infrared. So dito, question document, nakikita mo when using parang infrared camera. Parang infrared na improved na camera. May infrared film, may infrared filter. So, if you use that, you can picture kung ano yung mga na-crossed out, yung mga na-alter sa question document. Especially sa aerial photography. So, they actually use this to trace yung mga yung magnanakaw na siguro magnanakaw basta criminal na parang parang tumatakbo away from the police at night, parang ganun. Surveillance photography, so even at night, so yung mga police na nagsa-surveillance, they must be equipped with infrared para they can take pictures or they can record the movement of the subject. Detection of gunshot powder burns, so nakikita rin. Yung hindi natin nakikita na sa tingin natin is, so for example, ako yung pumatay, pinatugak Jekadwak. So, sa tingin, nagsabon ako para mawala yung gunpowder, pero nung pinicturan yung kamay ko, may mga traces pa rin. Ganun. Detection of certain types of secret writings. So, secret writings means yung hindi nakikita sa naked eye, pero may nakasulat pala. So, it differentiates inks, dyes, pigments, fabrics that appear to be similar but have been dyed, and all other na naka-flash dito sa screen. So, yun. Another radiation wave na wala sa visible light is the UV light, which is used in ultraviolet photography. Usually in crime scene photography, that they will picture yung mga cement stains, ano pa ba? Mga fingerprint, bodily fluids, money, mga counterfeit, and others. Ano naman ang photomicrography? So, it combines a camera with microscope. Pictures can then be taken of the things too small to be seen by the naked eye. So, with the use of a camera with a microscope, they can picture yung very small writings. Macrophotography naman. Photography of subject where the image is recorded in the same or larger than actual size. So it is the process of obtaining a magnified photograph of small object without the use of microscope. So parang pinalaki na, hindi naman pinalaki kaso parang ganun na, in-enlarge na photograph ng isang maliit na bagay. So, meron din yung microphotography, which is different from photomicrography. This photography made on vastly reduced scale to be observed using a microscope. So, or projected using a magic lantern. Through George Shadbolt is credited with being the inventor of microphotography. The first known example of microphotography was J.B. Dancer in 1839 when he produced the photographs 15 mm in diameter. The term should not be often confused with photomicrography. So the microphotographing of yung we discussed, di ba, yung photomicrography, camera with a microscope. So yung mga hindi nakikita or nakikita na mahirap makita na maliliit na bagay, you can picture them to see them. So dito naman is the picturing of parang saan naman dito is the production of photographs in which the image of an object is reproduced much smaller than it is. It is just the opposite of photomicrography. So, I don't know the exact date, kaso I think ginawa nung World War II, nung nag-away yung Axis power and Allied power. Axis power is Germany, Italy, Japan, di ba? So, in order for the Allied powers to communicate, especially noon sa Great Britain, I think, is that, di ba, pag nagpapadala yung mga soldiers ng information is parang na-ambush ng Axis power. So, yung ginawa nila is, they use microphotography. Pinaliit nila yung messages nila. So, pinakamaliit na size. That is photomicrography. Mababasa mo lang yun with the use of a microscope. So, yun yung ginawa ng Allied powers to win in some battles. So, now let's go to the crime scene photography. So, crime scene photography is to create an accurate, objective, visual, and permanent record of the crime scene before item is moved or removed as possible physical evidence. It is recommended to take as many photographs as you can, giving emphasis to possible physical evidence. So, there are guidelines in taking photographs of a crime scene. So, babasahin ko na lang. I think it's very understandable. Simple English yung ginamit. So, photograph of a crime scene should be taken as soon as possible before note-taking, sketching, or a search for evidence begins. So, bago pa man yung note-taking, sketching, dapat nagpipicture ka na dun. Kasi nga, time is gold, diba, sa crime scene. The picture should illustrate the original, uncontaminated condition of the crime scene. Photographs should be taken of the crime scene only without spectators or police personnel. Only without spectators or police personnel. Walang groupie. To adequately represent the crime scene initially, the photographs must form an organized sequence, show all relevant location and objects. So, meron yung, ano ba yun? Triangulation method wherein you photograph. Triangulation method ba yun? Wherein you photograph, parang may panoramic view yung crime scene na nako-connect lahat. So, yung long range mo, connected siya sa medium range mo. Ganun. The crime scene photographs must progress from general specific, from long range to medium range to close up. So, parang ito yung procedure. Begin photographing the crime scene as soon as possible. So, before note-taking and etc. So, it must capture the original and an uncontaminated part or the crime scene. Document the photographic effort with a photograph log. Dala-dala mo yun. Naturally. Ensure that the progression of overall medium and close-up view of scene is established from the long range or overall to medium. So, from general to specific. Photograph evidence in place before its collection and packaging. So, meron yung sinasabi, di ba, na without the markers, without the rulers, you must photograph it first before all that. And after that, photograph items, place, etc. to corroborate the statement of the witnesses, victims, and suspect. Yung mga tinuturo ng mga witness kung saan ginawa, kung saan place yung murder weapon, mga ganun. Take photographs from eye level. Ito yung important. Meron kayong case na ganito. We will discuss it on the jurisprudence in digital photography. Take photographs from eye level when feasible to represent the scene as would be observed by normal view. Ay, oo pala. So, kasi meron yung sinabi na jurisprudence na the photograph should be taken to accurately and represent parang ganun. Kaya, ginawa nilang eye level. Prior to lifting latent fingerprint, photograph should be taken. So, before, and then during the lifting, siguro, and then after. So, major types of pictorial views, the long range and the overall, doorway to the core, mid-range, and the close-up. So, long range, medium range, close-up. Diba ito? Connected siya. So, dito. Siguro na ito nag-dive yung car. Ito yung binangga niya. Ayun, yung mga parts ng car. So, yun. So, what is the importance of crime scene photography? To permanent record. So, once kasi na pinotograph mo na, may record ka na. Significance of certain aspect of the crime scene. So, in the initial stages of an investigation, the significance of certain aspect of the crime scene may not be evident, although later they may vitally affect the issues in the case. So, ano kaya ang example dito? Cannot think really of an example. But, so, for example, ayun, pinicturan mo lahat ng crime scene. Pero hindi mo, you can actually go back sa mga pictures mo para mag-investigate ulit kung may mga hindi ka pa nakita. So bigla mong parang while you are viewing the photos, may nakita ka na parang may nakita ka na evidence na nalilink pala sa suspect. Then, yun. It is a significant certain aspect of that crime scene. Reconstruction of the crime scene, especially when you are presenting it in the court. The court may require you to, through the photograph, to reconstruct the crime scene. So, basic requirement of a photograph as admitted as evidence in court. So, accurate representation of the crime scene, free of distortion or misleading photograph. Material or relevant to the point in issue. Dapat may 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 sense siya. Unbiased. So, ano kaya to? So, written report and so meron yung photograph log na ilalagay mo lahat yung pinicturan mo. I-record mo siya. So, sabi dito, written report on the proper chain of custody of photograph evidence. The chain of custody of the photographs must be maintained. The film should be removed from the camera and taken directly to the processing unless some secure facility is available for overnight storage. If this does not occur, the judge or jury may disregard. So, after mong i-picturean lahat, dapat agad-agad na ibigay mo yung film sa taga-develop ng film or i-secure mo sa isang place. A written record that indicates the details information of ito yung photograph log, letter E. So, the uses of photography in a crime scene. So, identification of the suspect, mugshot. Ito yung mga position ng mugshot. So, frontal whole body from head to toe with height scale behind. May frontal half body, head to elbow. May half body right side, head to elbow. May half body left side, head to elbow. May left quarter view and may right quarter view. So take note, the PNP Crime Laboratory is doing composite criminal illustration by freehand and by computerized. This can be made possible when a witness to a crime have personally seen the suspect and accurate and detailed description of the suspect and have bring the actual facial description of the suspect through composite criminal illustration. So binabasa ko na. So one of the uses also of photography in crime investigation is preservation of evidence, of course, kasi nare-record niya. And the description of the crime scene. So, picture paints 1,000 words. Nakita mo yung picture. Ito pala yung nangyari. For example, substitution to original document. Pero, sometimes the court wants the actual evidence. Yun. The record. To record yung crime scene. So, ayun. So, we have discussed this already. But, ito, hindi natin din-discuss. So, the sequential photographs of the crime scene. So, each crime scene has individual features that should be photographed. Keep in mind that the nature of the offense tried to show these features that establish the elements of the offense. Photographs should be taken the view of the exterior of the building in relation to other buildings. So, picturean mo yung building na ginawa, kung saan ginawa ng crime sa isa pang building. Parang long range siya. So, point of entry and exit. So, kung ano yung mga doors, yung mga windows, or yung mga ginawang doors ng criminal. Interiors of the crime scene and room. So, sa loob na to. So, when photographing the interior crime scene, use a 35mm camera lens instead of a wide-angle lens. So, nagdi-distort kasi yung wide-angle lens. So, take photographs from all corners and must be overlapping. If possible, a top view photograph of the floor. So, conditions of the crime scene, it shows how the things or objects on a seeing in the general result of evidences. So, ito yun na yung mga close-up. Articles, the area of the valuable articles were removed, trace evidences, tool mark, fingerprints. So, helpful hints in taking the photographs of crime scene. Signs of activity prior to the occurrence, such as the telephone receiver of the hook or wires cut, playing cards orderly stock, and TV. Just like yung diniscuss natin nung una. So, I will just leave it here. I'll put the document on the Google Class so you can read it. I think reading it is better. And thank you for listening and have a good day.